how should you come out? How should you prepare yourself best for the reaction of those around you? And what's it going to be like whenever you do come out? These are questions that I asked myself 2 years ago, and that I'm sure many, many, many of you have also asked in the past, or now even. And there's a lot of different answers to those questions, but I can only do my best to answer them in the way that I see best. I think the best thing that I can do when talking about this as somebody who came out 2 years ago is to detail my experience of what it was like to come out and give tips to others who are planning to come out soon. I think the first important note for my transition is that I didn't come out everywhere at the same time, which is entirely typical. I came out publicly online in March of 2023, which is kind of wild that it's been 2 years since then, but regardless, it's been 2 years. I knew my friends who closely surrounded me online were very trans friendly, very queer friendly, and most of them queer themselves. I went in with the full confidence that I would be embraced and loved. And while this was true, I still had fear that something would go wrong. I wasn't able to come out instantly. I'd come out in private towards the end of February of 2023, and it took me 2 to 3 weeks to build up the courage to tell everybody that I'm a trans woman. I did eventually build up this courage. Obviously, this isn't my coming out video. And yeah, whenever I came out, everything was amazing. Everybody was supportive. There was no hate, there's no backlash. I was only felt with true and full acceptance, it seemed at the time. And while I do feel in retrospect that maybe some people weren't being as heartfelt as I thought they were whenever they were telling me they accepted me, nonetheless, at the time, I was very relieved, very excited, and overwhelmed with tears and emotion and happiness from the response that I had from people seeing me for the first time. I've already talked about the things that I did to make myself feel more comfortable online, so I'm going to skip those topics for this video. If you're curious about any of them, you can find those topics in my Dealing with Dysphoria online video. But this video is going to delve just a little deeper than just coming out online, and I should really talk about how coming out in person went as well. When coming out, this was the thing that I was scared the most of. I was terrified to come out to my mother. She had seemed to be a little more accepting of trans people over the few prior years, but it doesn't help that she had implicated and said directly multiple times about her direct non-support of trans people and queer people in general, so I was really, really scared. But about a month or two later, I made sure I wasn't alone. I made sure I had somebody with me who I knew I could trust and I knew accepted me, and I came out to my mother. The response didn't go anywhere near as well as it did as the online one. She was honestly kind of upset about it. She left me with a feeling that she didn't not only understand me, but she also didn't support me at all. But she couldn't come to terms with the fact that I'm a trans woman, that I'm a woman, despite all of the signs that happened throughout my entire childhood. Which honestly, to me, showed me exactly how little she paid attention to me as a person. This isn't to say that I regret coming out to my mother. I'm happy that I can be a little bit more free and be myself in certain scenarios. But I do wish she would have been more accepting initially. She's grown a tiny bit, but I've still never been properly gendered or correctly named. So there's a lot of progress to be done if any progress is going to happen. Regardless of how that went, I can say that I've been through very positive coming out experiences and very negative coming out experiences. Maybe not the most negative, but it definitely could have been better. So if you're planning to come out, what should you do? How should you prepare? I can't tell you exactly what to do. Everybody's going to have different experiences and everybody's going to have the best route for them, and it's up to you to determine what that is. For people like me, however, I think it's really important to have a strong social group that you don't even have to question that they're going to accept you because they're extremely accepting people. This gives you the support in the case where you want to come out to somebody who isn't as guaranteed accepting. This gives you a group to fall back on, to help you, to try to help make everything okay. When it comes to coming out in person to somebody that you're really nervous to come out to, I do think that having somebody there who is accepting of you is a really, really, really good thing to have. At least in my case, it was. Because I feel like there was a little more understanding and a little more thought that went into the processing, purely because there was more than just me saying it as well. And this, again, is entirely subjective. You could easily have a better scenario where you have a personal one-on-one and you talk your heart out with the person that you're coming out to. That's entirely valid. That's not how I felt safest, but if you feel safest that way, do it. What really matters at the end of the day is do whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Do whatever you feel like is best for your safety and best for your happiness. It begs the question of, is coming out even really necessary? Like, if you don't want to come out to somebody, don't. And if you don't want to make coming out one big singular moment, Spread it out and let the people figure it out for themselves. Like in people like me's case, introduce your new pronouns slowly, slowly change your wardrobe, your appearance, and let them figure out that way that this is who you are. This is what makes you happy. If you want to come out and have that big moment of coming out, that's also entirely valid. Celebrate yourself being queer in a society that tries to push back against us. Absolutely. But it's not a requirement if you think that you'll be more comfortable, safer, and happier if you don't do it. Hell, even if you want to come out multiple times, that's entirely valid as well. I came out twice to my mother. The time that I had previously mentioned, and then another time a few months later because I was so saddened by the lack of support that she was giving me. And honestly, the second time I came out, it went a lot better. I did it in a very silent way in that I was out of the house for a little bit and I had left a note hidden in my room and I told her where it was. I told her to go read it, and it essentially said that I was upset with the lack of support that I was getting and I just wanted to be seen for who I was, as her daughter. Things got a little better after that. It's been about a year and a half since that note, and while I wouldn't say that things are good, or even close to good, I would say that things are better than they were when I initially came out. I feel like another big thing is that I feel like I have more to do when it comes to coming out, because one thing I should discuss is coming out verbally and coming out via presentation are very different hurdles to me. I've already came out verbally. I'm happy talking about being trans and queer and about being a woman, but I can still feel the amount of judgment that she has of me and how I feel like it endangers my safety. So I feel very nervous to present in ways that make me happy around her. Not online though. I feel extremely happy presenting as who I actually am online, how I want to be online, and just me. So again, it might not be two separate hurdles entirely. The hurdles are definitely interlinked, but there are some scenarios where you can feel like you can come out verbally, but you feel like you still can't be yourself because of the amount of pressure that's weighing down on you because of the danger they could potentially put you in. Needless to say, to answer the question of should you come out and how should you come out? Should you come out if you want to? Absolutely. Don't feel pressured to, but if you want to come out, do it. You feel safe to, you feel happy to, and you feel like that's the best course for your life, do it. Why not? And how should you come out? I can't give you the answer, but I do hope this video helped you get closer to it. Thank you for watching, everybody.